They called him a goalkeeper, but that word never really captured what he truly was. Because Oliver Kahn didn't just guard the goal, he controlled the entire game with fear, intensity, and a mentality that very few players in history could ever match. He wasn't the most technical, he wasn't the most elegant, but he was, without a doubt, one of the most terrifying forces football has ever seen. And the truth is, modern goalkeeping, as we know it today, would not exist in the same way without him.
And Ronaldo's in here for Brazil! And Oliver Kahn is able to make the save!
So, if you think you've seen everything in football, watch until the end, because some of these moments will completely change the way you see goalkeepers forever. Part 1. Obsession. Most players want to win, but for Kahn, winning wasn't just a goal. It was a necessity, something deeply wired into his personality. There's a story that perfectly explains this mindset. At a charity event, he took part in a penalty shootout against children. For every goal they scored, money would be donated to an orphanage, a simple feel-good event where most players would let at least a few shots go in. But Kahn didn't. He saved every single penalty. Not one child scored, and when people asked him about it later, he simply said, "It was for charity, but I just couldn't lose." In that moment, it became clear. This wasn't normal competitiveness, this was pure obsession. Part 2. Redemption. Fast forward to 2001, the Champions League final in Milan. FC Bayern Munich against Valencia CF. Just 2 years earlier, Bayern had suffered one of the most heartbreaking defeats in football history against Manchester United. And that pain never left Kahn. This final wasn't just a game, it was redemption. The match turns into a battle of nerves, and eventually, a penalty shootout. And that's when Kahn transforms into something else entirely. He doesn't just make saves, he dominates the moment. One save, then another, then another. Bayern wins. But what happened next is what truly defined him. Instead of celebrating wildly with his teammates, he walks straight to the defeated goalkeeper Santiago Canizares, who is lying on the ground in tears, and comforts him. A warrior in battle, but a man of respect when it was over. Part 3. The one-man wall. In 2002 at the World Cup, Germany was not even considered a serious contender. But Kahn had other plans. He delivered one of the greatest goalkeeping performances in football history. In 7 matches, he conceded just 1 goal. Think about that. 1. He carried Germany, almost single-handedly, all the way to the final. And for the first, and still the only time ever, a goalkeeper was awarded the Golden Ball as the best player of the tournament. Not a striker, not a playmaker, a goalkeeper. Part 4. Pain doesn't matter. In the World Cup final against Brazil national football team, just minutes before conceding his first goal, Kahn suffers a serious finger injury, a torn ligament. For most players, that would be the end, but not for him. He stayed on the pitch, played through the pain, and never once looked for sympathy. He made one mistake in the entire tournament, and after the match, when everyone expected an excuse, he simply said, "That had nothing to do with the goal. No excuses, no weakness." Part 5. Before Neuer. Years before Manuel Neuer redefined the modern sweeper-keeper role, Kahn was already breaking the rules in his own way. He would charge out of his penalty area with zero hesitation, cutting off attacks before they even had a chance to develop. It wasn't always elegant. It wasn't always perfect, but it was fearless. He didn't just defend the goal, he expanded it. Part 6. Pure will. In the 2001 Bundesliga season finale, Bayern Munich was seconds away from losing the title. And then Kahn took over. He ran forward, screaming, pushing, demanding more from his teammates, refusing to accept defeat. And in the final moments, Bayern scored. They didn't just win because of skill, they won because Kahn simply refused to lose. And if you're starting to realize just how different this man was, hit subscribe, because stories like this aren't just about football, they completely change how you understand greatness. Part 7. Mental dominance. Penalty shootouts against Kahn weren't just difficult, they were psychological warfare. He would stare down players, wait until the very last possible moment, and make even the best strikers question themselves. He didn't just stop shots, he controlled minds. Part 8. Controlled chaos. Kahn was intense, explosive, and sometimes completely uncontrollable. He would scream at his defenders, demand perfection. and show zero tolerance for mistakes. Because for him, anything less than 100% was unacceptable. Part 9. The Hand of Kahn. In one unforgettable moment, Kahn literally punched the ball into the net during a match, like a volleyball spike. It was disallowed, he was sent off, but after the game, he joked, "I thought goalkeepers could use their hands in the box." That moment perfectly summed him up. Win first, think later. Over 14 years, more than 600 matches, and countless unforgettable moments. With FC Bayern Munich, Oliver Kahn didn't just build a career, he built a legacy. Not just through talent, but through mentality. Relentless, fearless, unbreakable. He wasn't just a legend of the game, he was something more. A titan.